Hi, just another quick one. It's for educational purposes. Although it's fair use under that, under educational purposes. Like I said, all that only applies to the person. I'm not a person, I'm a man. All these acts and statutes and stuff, they're just rules and regulations of United Kingdom Corporation Limited, or whatever country you're in, because they're registered as a corporation. Last time I looked, I didn't work for the United Kingdom Corporation Limited, so they don't apply to me, because that's like me walking into a shop or a supermarket or a fast food place or a warehouse or whatever, and I don't work for them, but I've still got to abide by their staff's rules. Don't be fucking stupid. Don't work like that. Right. This is rhetorical devices, scare tactics. Scare tactics it's a strategy using fear to influence the public's reaction, coercing a favourable response by preying upon the audience's fears. Yeah. Scare tactics are not direct threats, but are intimidated conclusions. Instead of threatening a consequence onto an individual, scare tactics highlight the possible negative outcomes to the extreme, while merely suggesting connectedness. The audience is supposed to use its own logic to draw the obvious negative conclusions. This is dangerous for people. Often believe their own faulty logic because we feel that we can trust our own decisions simply because they belong to us. But they don't belong to you, because it's all what they call it. It's all what society has put on you, the cult of society, what the TV and education and everything else. The thought's not your own. Yeah. Your decisions don't belong to you. You pick them up from other people and from the television. Yeah, the shadows on the wall in Plato's cave. The education, the shadows on the wall in Plato's cave. Yeah. The cult of society. Yeah. It says if we base these conclusions on fear, however, then we have committed a logical fallacy. Scare tactics work often in real life, perhaps because some people can more easily imagine the bloody details of a dire consequence than to rationalise the remoteness of its possible occurrence. They may explain why many people fear flying in light of statistical evidence that proves it to be the safest form of vehicular transportation. Such tactics can also be unfairly used to magnify existing and sometimes legitimate fears into panic or prejudice. Like there's possibility of nuclear war in 1950s. People went out and spent over 20 grand on today's money on backyard bomb shelters and stuff, so the family could survive a nuclear war. This is I'm not going to go again. I'm just going to say all politicians, just politicians, politics in general. Usually scare tactics do incorporate any real evidence or key details that might place the attack in a more balanced focus. However, but how exactly does the candidate plan to alter these welfare benefits? So, like, if this man gets elected, he'll change your welfare benefits, but they don't say how. Perhaps this candidate or whatever is going to plan to increase in them. Not that I don't go for politics anyway. You're given the illusion of choice. There is no politics. It's the illusion of choice. But so just an example. Even though his opponent's propaganda might suggest otherwise. Without the details to substantiate this argument, the audience's fear fills the void, opening the door to prejudice or rash thinking. Thousands of politicians have been elected because they effectively and unfairly convince their constituents that their opponents should be feared, not just defeated. It's like there's a TV commercial here it tells you about in America. I don't think it was just America, but on MTV, so probably worldwide. I can't remember this advert, to be honest. This is your brain, these are drugs, this is your brain on drugs. This classic TV ad showed an egg frying in a blackened pan representing one's brain being fried. This campaign was only marginally successful, yet it ran for years on youth-orientated programming such as MTV. The appeal is strictly emotional, suggesting that trying any drug will sear your brain juices to the point of evaporation. The ad never offers a direct logical reason to abstain from drug use, nor clarifies the real effects of various drugs. Will I fry if I take aspirin or my doctor's prescription too? Probably, yeah, because the pharmaceutical industry is not there for you. They don't give you nothing for nothing, it's not there for you. There's a lot of money in keeping people sick. The terms drug and fried are too vague to be educational, but the image produces an emotional reaction, so it works a little. This campaign was powerful and its quest noble, but the argument presented in this commercial was clearly invalid. This example also qualifies as a false analogy, since the objects being compared and associated are not analogous. My brain is not a chicken egg, and no drug will heat it past the boiling point. So I want you to. It says there's an assignment here. I'd like it if you'd. You don't have to. It's up to you. I'm not telling you to do anything. But if you find an example of somebody clearly using the scare tactics to try and influence another individual or influence people, put the example in the comment section and explain why it's an example of a scare tactic by using the information I've just given you. So I'd like to see if people can recognise the scare tactic. Alright, thanks for watching. Goodbye.